Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good morning, everyone. Today, in this occasion, I would like to tell you storytelling about the brilliant visionary, the vision of Steve Jobs. So, before we start, I want to ask you something. What do you think about this logo?
May laptop.
Laptop?
I know.
Any others?
I know.
Any others?
Elegance.
Elegant.
Elegance.
Any others?
Expensive.
Yes, maybe.
Naim.
What?
Samsung.
Samsung.
Okay, maybe you guys may think this logo is related with expensive, luxury, or maybe a lifestyle. But behind of this logo, there's innovative and also a creativity about technology. So we'll start the story of brilliant visionary, the vision of Steve Jobs. All right. Born in the 1955 and adopted by the modest, loving family in California. He wasn't born rich, nor was he born brilliant. But from a young age, he was curious. Curious about how things actually works, curious about people, curious about possibilities. That curiosity will become the fuel for everything he created later. So when Steve Jobs was born, he was not born like a rich from a rich family. He was born a normal people, but he was blessed with their brilliant and innovative thinking. That's how he was curious with how things actually works, and then that will become the fuel for everything he creates later. Next, when Steve first grew up in the high school, he met something more related with his passion. He met a Steve Wozniak, who was an engineering genius. Jobs was the visionary, and together they didn't just build a circuit, they built a dream, and soon that dream will become a company born in a garage. So when Steve Jobs hits like senior high school or maybe high school, met with someone that really liked his passion, which is curious about things actually work. He met Steve Wozniak. Together, they start to build a small thing from making a technology and later building a company in a garage. In the 1976, Apple was founded in Jobs' parent garage, but Steve had a different vision from the other computer makers, where the others saw m- computer as a machine. Jobs saw computer as a tool to empower people. He wanted technology to be beautiful, simple, and human. He said, "We're here to put a dent in the universe," and he meant it. So later, after creating a company in this simple garage, he not just saw computer as a machine. He saw computer as a tool to empower humans. That's how he built an creative and innovation technology. And then here comes the first fall of the Steve Jobs. The vision is always understood. As Apple grew, conflict grew too. In 1985, Steve Jobs was fired from the very company he created. He honestly it was the best thing that ever happened to him because it forced him to rebuild not just a company but also heal his personality. And failure became a fuel. Jobs started a new company called Next to advance for its time but full of bold ideas. He also bought a tiny studio or animation studio called Pixar, and later he revolutionized his animation with the first animation called Toy Story. Later, the ideas blew up, and this chapter teaches us something powerful. Fiction doesn't stop just because the world isn't ready. And then By the 1977, Apple was struggling, and Steve returned to the company. He didn't save Apple by doing more than he actually did. He saved it by just focusing on simplicity, on design, and this user experience. He believed technology should feel like magic, and he pushed his team to make that magic real. And then after back to the outer company, he started to create an innovation. He come with the ideas to create a product like an iMac, the iPod, iPhone, and iPad. Each of them wasn't just a product. It was a story behind the creativity, connection, and the belief that technology should serve people, not overwhelm them. Each era defined not that its era defined not just Apple, but an entire generation. A final year's lasting vision. After growing up Apple into a big company, even when Steve realized that his time was limited, his vision never been met. He focused on building a company that would outlive him. My job is not easy on people. He said, my job is to make them better. His greatest invention, he later said, was not the iPhone or the iMac, it's the Apple itself. The vision lived on. Steve Jobs was passed away in 2011, but his vision continued to shape how we communicate, work, create, and dream. His story teaches us that vision is not about predicting of the future. It's about believing in the future, that work in the future, worth creating, and having the courage to build it. Maybe that's all for me. The conclusion is the vision of we'll need to learn from a big characters like a Steve Jobs or maybe the other big characters. Because from their vision we can actually create a better innovation and better creativity in our life. Maybe that's all for me. If I have any mistake, I'm sorry. If there's any good sentence that really came from Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. Once again, thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.